Episode 5, Mukozuke, written by Ayana A. Floyd, Steve Lightfoot, and Brian Fuller, directed by Michael Reimer. And this is your little reminder that our Twitter giveaway at HannibalPod is still going until the 25th of October, and also pre-orders for the Suzukana barn scene keychains are also going until the 31st of October. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Fate and Circumstance, a Hannibal fan podcast. I am your host, Felix Fanfaron Fern, and these are my co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Melisa Suzan, and I am one of Felix's co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Shaira Bambi, and I am Melissa's co-host.
Oh,
And Felix's.
Oh, I thought we were just going to make it like a weird circle. I'm Shaira's co-host.
Yeah! Circle of friendship and love and
Circle
murder.
of co-hosts.
Circle of gay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid.
Circle of Hannibal love.
So we haven't recorded an episode in about 5 weeks. So this is going to go great, and nothing's going to go wrong.
I'm so brain what? Hello,
All a little bit fucked.
we can do it, gang.
Yeah.
Exactly, but also let's go.
Let's go!
Let's fucking go.
Go.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start off with shout-outs that we have been doing every week.
Woo!
Hell yeah. So our two artist shout-outs this week are, the first one is Suspended on Dust, who is a wonderful artist who does quite a bit of HEU fan art, which is the Hannibal Extended Universe stuff. Also a wonderful Tristad shipper, which is Tristan and Galahad from the 2004 King Arthur movie, which is not a good film, but it's fine. So I would definitely recommend checking out their art if you like hot men on horses.
I do like hot men on horses.
It's very specific, but it's very true to her artwork.
I can appreciate a hot man.
Thighs as well.
That's cool.
Because they wear like really short tunics in that film, so good thigh artwork.
Oh,
Nice. The other artist that we are shouting out is Beatrice. And Beatrice does a lot of different types of Hannibal artwork, and a lot of it is like incredibly sexy and spicy. But my favorite thing about their artwork is that they do a lot of like really soft colored, happy couple Will and Hannibal artwork, like how you would imagine them to be living their lives as like a happy married couple.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me incredibly happy and warm inside.
And then them what looks like on a beach in Hawaii or something with Will's tiny little bottom out.
Tiny little So Beatrice has this wonderful headcanon of like Will just being incredibly comfortable being naked, and I'm fine with that. I completely support that.
Yeah, I completely support that. I just do not see Will being very.
When in reality, it's probably the entire opposite. But I absolutely love that she's like
Cannons, okay?
Maybe he's incredibly comfortable being naked just around Hannibal.
I would believe that.
True.
Yeah. The special relationship comfort.
Yes.
I want to give a quick little bonus shout out as well to Kate Bridle, aka Living with Lecter, because we have all now spoken with Kate.
She's so lovely.
She's so nice that I felt like I had to mention something, and I'm glad I remembered, because like if you are following along with the show with us, you want to be a little bit careful with her Living with Lecter series, because there may be some spoilers. But if you do know the content, her videos are very funny and very sweet. She's a really good content creator and comedian, and just incredibly nice, and has been really nice about our podcast.
Extremely sweet.
Yeah, she's so nice to talk to. Highly recommend checking out her. She's also in an episode of The Feast is Life with Dreamin' DB as well. So they have a whole episode with her you can listen to as well.
That's so cute.
Lovely.
Well, we'll have to listen to it when we get through this, which is going to be a few more months.
Yeah, you get dragged and you have to wait. Everyone else can do what they want, but you two have to suffer.
But then it just means that we've got so much to look forward to.
We do. We really got so much to look forward to after finishing the
I cannot
podcast.
wait for the day I don't know when it'll happen, so I won't make any promises, but there will be special bonus collaboration episodes of this podcast at some point. Because there are quite a few people now who really want to talk with you two.
Oh.
Stuff. But because there's spoiler issues, we have to wait a bit. But there are people who are very excited to talk to you two on a podcast episode.
Why
About your
do you want
wonderful
to do
takes.
that? You absolute
Yeah,
I
you have
dunno,
Felix. here,
carrots.
Come on.
What?
You're absolutely wonderful people. I don't want to be mean to our fans. Oh my god, Melissa.
I don't know, most people who listen to this are probably pretty weird. I say that in the most complimentary way.
You,
Yeah, that's valid.
you absolute Hannibal sluts. Sorry.
That's our official fan name, is Hannibal Sluts.
Hannibal sluts.
I'm fine with this. Right. So, how did you find the episode?
Beverly.
The sequel.
Again, a lot of difficult to watch, but interesting. I feel like it's becoming a little bit more kind of obscure in a way in certain bits. You just sort of like, I'm getting into a realm of more like, I really don't know what's happening now, which I enjoy.
It's getting very confusing in a good way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly that.
Yeah, like the first season, I'll give it to them. It's really good, but I could figure out a lot of things that were coming up. But this season, I am like twists and turns. I'm like, okay, my predictions are difficult, and I'm having to give a bit of hopeful predictions, but also at the same time things that I can't for sure say. Like, whereas I was like 90% sure of my predictions during first season, I'm like 70-80%, like no, 50-50 sure my predictions are correct. Like that's how much I'm trusting myself watching the show. It's a little bit more difficult to figure out which path it's going, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's done a bit of a 180, hasn't it? Like I feel like in the first season, it wasn't like we were guessing everything correctly all the time to the point that it was not enjoyable. But like we were sort of able to put things together, and it was still enjoyable. And I think that's where I've always said this. I think it's really difficult to get that thing of like, you kind of know keyword is you what?
Yeah.
You kind of know what's coming.
Yeah.
Hey. But it's still enjoyable, even though you're sort of expecting something. And now we really can't. I mean, for me, anyways, it's a lot harder to kind of guess what's coming and what's going to happen. But then, that for me, there's a bit of like, oh, but I want to figure it out. Like, I want to know.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're still very good detectives, and we all figure out something.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
I think part of it is because the first season also was so procedural, so you had lots of neat little stories and just little hints of the tying long-running plot that slowly eased into it. Whereas this, you're thrown into a long-running plot straight away that has constant turns every episode, so the pace is quite different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very true. It's still good, just a bit like. I mean, maybe this is on purpose, but it definitely feels like you're sort of left wanting more from each episode. So then when you go to the next one, you're like, oh, we're going to get more answers. And then you kind of do, kind of don't. And then you're sort of like blue ballsed again. And you're sort of like, oh, come on. It's very much it feels like it's leading up to slowly to a very big like plot twist, cliffhanger drop. Oh,
interesting.
Detective work's done it again.
Exactly. But yeah, no, 100% exactly what Melissa says. It's leading up to something big. I honestly think we haven't seen the last of the deaths. I feel like there's going to be a few more of characters that we kind of enjoy. I don't know. Like, and I'm really like curious as to who and what. Maybe Dr. Chilton, maybe Alana. Like, there are things that just I keep thinking about.
All that.
I keep thinking about like because like this episode ended on something that was wild, and now they're going to be like, Will's a killer 100%, and Hannibal kind of wants Will to be outside, right? I'm thinking that the only way Hannibal's going to get the people out of Will's way, is by killing them, which is not what Will wants. But
I definitely think the one thing we've learned from Beverly's death is the show has now told us outright that no one is safe.
No one. Yeah.
I was
Which is scary. That's very scary from a main character point of view to know that none of the main characters are secure.
Yeah.
I would have thought that. I initially thought that the people in the FBI wouldn't have been touched, but then it also makes sense that they would, because if they're flying too close to the sun, quite literally what Beverly did, then of course, then he's going to have no choice. Yeah, very interesting. Definitely very scary, like you said.
Scary shit.
Scary shit.
So, if we go to the start of the episode, it opens with the wonderful little breakfast scene, which is a really nice another example of the mirroring in the episode, where we see Hannibal cooking this beautiful, luxurious breakfast, and then Will having his like prison slop, which is nice. It's an interesting dichotomy between Hannibal caring for Jack as well, because like, after what happened with Bella in the last episode, there's like this really caring scene of Hannibal making sure that Jack is eating, but also Hannibal's form of care through food is also his biggest inside joke. And he's just killed Beverly.
Inside joke Jack's employer.
Yeah. That works on many levels. I didn't think of that. So, on the note of food, we'll start off with the episode title is Mukozuke. Mukozuke literally means set to the far side. So it's seasonal sashimi, but it's set to the far side of the diner's place setting. So that's our kaiseki episode title. The breakfast that Hannibal makes is called Hangtown Fry. And I'm going to tell you what that is exactly by how Janice Poon described it in her blog, because I have never heard of Hangtown Fry before. I'm going to assume neither of you have either. Yeah.
No.
Very specific American thing. So, Hangtown Fry is a dish that became synonymous with Californian gold miners striking it rich in 1849 and celebrating with the most expensive dish the local saloon keeper could offer. It was first created by the cook at the El Dorado Hotel in Dry Diggins, renamed Hangtown after several unauthorized lynchings.
Oh.
Is that not the most American thing you've ever heard?
Yeah, that's an American thing to say.
Gold rush and lynchings. Very American. Sorry.
Right.
So, in the original concept art, I noticed it was like a frittata, but the actual version Hannibal makes is like scrambled eggs with pancetta. Then there's a breaded and fried oyster, a crayfish, and molten salt, which is like in the oyster shell, looking all pretty. I think I've mentioned it in the podcast before. I know I've mentioned it to people. There's the scene where Hannibal is cracking the eggs and he like throws one up and it lands on the spatula and cracks.
I've always wanted to do that. My toxic trait is that I think I can do that. First time.
Yep.
Well, Mads Mikkelsen.
Fuck off. Didn't do it first time.
Right.
What?
Right off, right. Oh, my earphones come out. That's how fucking outraged I am.
I'm weirdly attracted even more.
Oh, it's sexy as hell.
It's so sexy.
So I knew that he'd done it first try. What I didn't know and found out from Janice Poon's blog is that they had hired 3 professional Japanese chefs on stand to be hand doubles because they just assumed he wouldn't be able to do it. Because that's what you would assume. And he did it first try. And then they were kind of like, that was a fluke. So they made him do it again. And he did it again.
Oh, wow.
2 in a row.
Yep, he explained he used to be a juggler when he was a kid. Or when he was young.
Sake, we get it. Your cock's big. You don't need to flaunt
He's
it, babe.
a dancer.
Fucking hell! Right, I'm doing it. Do you know, I'm gonna do it.
You've learned now.
I'm gonna learn to juggle, and then I'm gonna learn to do that. I'm gonna do all of
Fuck that! I'm going straight for the eggs.
No, I want to go through his process, learn to juggle, dance, and then do that.
Yeah, bollocks to all of that. I'm just learning how to fucking do the egg thing, and I'm gonna do it first time. If I don't do it first time, I'm fucking giving up.
Heck yeah, you will. Heck yeah, you will. Well
I
done.
want
What a
physical
bastard.
evidence of this. It is wonderful. He's too good. It's not actually fair.
No, it's not.
Sometimes people are
Load
too
of
good,
wank.
it's not fair. Like, come on, let's save some talents for all of us. Come on.
Yeah. He put too many of his skill points into talent.
Yeah.
So, going towards the beginning of the episode again-ish, or sort of continuing on from the last episode, when we watched episode 4 together, there was some uncertainty as to what Beverly saw in Hannibal's basement, as she looked shocked at something off camera. I said at the time, I always assumed it to be Hannibal's kill room, because it's like his basement. So she may be seeing his tools of the trade or evidence of his wrongdoings. But I'd like to know what you think. What do you think that Beverly saw down there?
So Abigail incubated. That girl's alive, I tell you. That girl's alive. Yes.
Just like
Incubated. In like a giant incubator.
Oh,
She's alive, I tell you. She's alive.
like a cryo chamber.
was very
She's
Like
frozen.
a cryo chamber, that's it. Yeah, she's frozen. Somehow.
my
She's
God.
alive. Or she's slept. She's like incubated and just injected with like sleep.
She's being
sleeping
kept warm until she's ready to hatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fuck what I was going to say. I think it's that now.
God, my hope that Abigail is alive. She's gonna stay hopeful.
I mean, I think that's like a good guess. If you think that she's alive,
Yeah.
I think that's like a smart guess. I think.
I wonder if it's like, I think it might have been sort of an arrangement of the way that the body parts were, or just like hanging legs and stuff that are, or limbs, or just like a really gross display of like meat that is yet to be prepared into being like sealed up and labeled and whatever. Or just like apparatus to like cut people or something, or
that's kind of where my brain goes as well. Like the tools of the trade, and maybe like kind of like a butcher's workshop kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, so like dry aging meat and things.
Yeah. We know he likes his fucking Iberico ham and all that bullshit, so he could be dry aging.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get to see it, or you won't tell us that?
Of course, I'm not going to tell you that. I wrote this talking point for a reason, but I'm not going to talk about it again for ages.
Oh, I hate you.
Oh my goodness.
Some
forget
classic
about it.
Felix move.
I have a cat with her two
baby?
front paws on my desk and the bottom back legs on the armrest. She's trying to get on to try and steal food. No.
I thought she
You
was
get to be
helping, but
your own
no,
food.
just being a cat.
No. She's like the little sibling that's like trying to tiptoe and like reach up and like, can I play? No.
I'd like to know her opinions on the talking point.
Yeah. Pepper, what do you think? What do you think Beverly saw?
Meow, meow,
Nothing.
meow.
No
Meow,
thoughts.
meow, meow, meow.
Just hot air. Is that
Yeah,
you
sounds
doing
like a
that
cat.
impression?
Yes.
No, that was the cat.
That was
Oh,
the cat,
right,
yeah,
got it.
definitely.
Pepper's on the call.
Yeah.
Right, so going into the scene where Will was reenacting Beverly's crime, there's a couple of little notes from the script I found interesting. So in the script, when Will is doing the reenactment, I'm just trying to find it in my notes. I can't find it in my notes. It's fine. I vaguely remember the details.
In his notes.
In my notes. In that scene in the script, first of all, Will is so overwhelmed he actually sits on the floor in the observatory. I think it's fine he doesn't do that because his reaction, Hugh Dancy's reaction in that scene is heartbreakingly good. But also, when he's imagining murdering Beverly as Hannibal did, he, in the script, doesn't touch her. And he does normally, when he's imagining what a killer is doing, he's literally doing it. But in the script, the idea is that, it's so close to him that he cannot touch her when he does it. They obviously did away with that, and he does. But I think that makes sense, because I think it'd be quite hard to shoot a strangling where you don't touch someone.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think from the episode point of view, it makes sense. But it's very interesting, that little mindset, though, I think is a really nice little note.
Yeah. Poor Will.
So, yeah, poor fucking Will.
Yeah.
Why do you think that Will didn't tell Jack who the Chesapeake Ripper is?
I wonder if he's scared that history would repeat itself in a way. That maybe something would happen to him, to Jack, what happened to Beverly. Because he was specifically saying to Beverly, stay away from Hannibal Lecter, blah, blah, blah. And maybe also because he's been quite dismissed before when bringing up Hannibal Lecter, and everyone's like, oh, but it's not Hannibal, it's not Hannibal. Hannibal's not responsible for this. They just immediately shoot him down. So he's kind of maybe now trying to be you need to figure it out for yourself, in sense of if they can see it, then they'll believe him. I don't know.
I honestly can't add more to that. I think exactly what Melissa said. It's hard because he told them it's Hannibal. If he goes back to it's Hannibal, how are they going to react? Similarly, you're crazy. You're actually crazy. You would never. You're leading us on all this time, etc., etc. And then the other side is yes, if he just tells them at the moment, what if Jack does something stupid and goes straight up to Hannibal, getting himself killed? So there's so multiple layers, unfortunately, and I think those are the only two I can think of. It's difficult to think of if there's anything other that Will was thinking about, unless he wants his own revenge and he doesn't want anyone else.
I mean, we did see at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
he does eventually get there.
Oh, yeah.
He does eventually.
He does eventually get there.
We've got a little while to go before that happens, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree with you both.
Yeah.
Basically.
The other point I was quickly making, because I think Melissa just put it in my head, because I just said it as well. It could be his own hubris. It could be that he's taking some form of Hannibal within himself. He wants to be the one to catch him. He doesn't want anyone else to catch him. It has to be me. I have to be the one to avenge him. But
yeah, maybe this falls into his plan of wanting to get him killed rather than Jack going after him.
Yeah,
because if he's told Jack, maybe he'd go straight for him, or they'd not straight for him, but they'd figure something out FBI style, how they do. And just all the elaborate of just getting the whole team out and catching them. So I feel like if he told Jack, he might not have been able to be like, oh yeah, go and kill Hannibal. Maybe he wanted to
that could be another reason.
Get his revenge first, like you said.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting. My interpretation of it is literally as simple as he's told them, they didn't believe him. And the only way that Beverly believed him was because she found out for herself.
Yeah.
So now Jack has to do that, because if he says it, Jack's not going to care. He's just going to think, Will is just crazy then.
Exactly.
So I do think it is as simple as no point. He's got to do what Beverly did. He's got to figure it out. That's the only way anyone's ever going to believe it. I wanted to talk about the bite mask. So we got to see a very cool mask in this episode, which is a nod to the original Silence of the Lambs mask that Hannibal Lecter wears. But of course...
But we didn't see it because it's see-through.
No.
I love you, Melissa. God damn it.
I love you too.
Fucking dad jokes. So in the books, and the Hannibal books, and Silence of the Lambs, the Hannibal mask is more like a full face covering hockey mask. And then in Silence of the Lambs, they did loads of different designs for different masks before they settled on the one they use in the film, which looks kind of like in between like plastic and leather and worn skin, which kind of fits in with the theme of Silence of the Lambs. So Will's mask is essentially a modern update on that. So I wanted to know if bite masks were actually a thing that's used. So I tried to do a little bit of research. And some prisons use what is called a spit hood, which I showed some images of and I'll put in our notes as well.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's horrible. It's literally like a sack over someone's head. So it's used to stop the patients from biting, but also spitting to protect staff from things like hepatitis.
Yeah, that's wild.
But also, I would, if I police brutality, and I don't like that.
Again, it literally looks like a cheesecloth.
Yeah, it's horrible. So the reading I was doing is that, a bunch of prisons and a bunch of countries have basically been like, risk or not, that's dehumanizing, so they won't use them.
Yeah.
So they're not used. Yeah, they're not used very often, which I'm glad for, because, like, I get the theory, but they're fucking horrific. There are also protective masks that cover the bottom half of the face instead of an entire hood, which I also put some images of, which is a little bit more similar to the bite mask, but I struggled to find information on just how widely or legitimately they're used. But because America is a scary place, if you want to, you can buy one.
That's
I don't know what you'd use it for.
What, a spit head?
Spit hood and the lower face masks as well. You can buy both online for like less than $20.
Halloween.
See, I wouldn't buy one for the lower face mask, but for a Halloween. But like, I would not like to be in a position where an authority was doing that to me, because that would terrify me.
Yeah, it's horrifying having someone forcing that on you. Very, very scary. There is some interesting information I've since learned about the design choice of Will's transparent mask and why it's transparent. But that is a topic that I will be revisiting in season 3.
Oh,
right.
So you don't get to find out for a while.
Oh,
Because I'm an arsehole.
oh.
So, back to the episode.
No.
Ages to go.
Okay. Let's go. No, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. It's so fun.
It's only going to be more teasers yet.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
More of my bullshit.
Woo! Actually, more talking to our fans, and talking to each other, and then talking to our fans. They listen in, and they enjoy it, and I love them. No, wonderful people who listen.
You suck up.
You cannibal sluts.
You cannibal sluts.
Thank you.
It's like you're just being really nice. I'm just like, I'm busy being a curmudgeon. Right. On to the episode. Were you surprised to see that Abel Gideon is back and, more importantly, alive?
No, because that fucker is everywhere in it.
Is he?
I mean, he's just a bit like oddball, bit different. He just says shit for the sake of saying it. I feel like he just says this random like poetic stuff. So he's just one of those people that I just expect to pop out of nowhere and just appear. No, I'm not surprised.
So for your daily dose of Abel Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that. Give me.
And that, I was going to say that would do numbers.
I would wake up every day and happy with the daily Abel Gideon giving me daily updates. But yeah.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning with Gideon.
Hey!
I'd watch the shit out of that.
I'd watch that shit. Every morning. I'd give me such a smile. And it's recorded from his the insane asylum.
Great. Inside one of his little pods.
Yeah, inside one of his pods.
Were you surprised, Shaira?
Nope. Everyone I love is alive. Gideon, Abigail, maybe somehow Beverly. Maybe no, Beverly. Unfortunately, I've literally,
you never know.
I've literally let go to the wind. I've seen the body.
Someone's going to be a loss.
Unfortunately, I love Beverly, but I've like she's cut in half, and
it's a little hard to come back from that.
It's hard to go. Oh, unless I literally want to believe that they're going to do some arcane shit in the season 3. And that last makes me think they are going to do some kind of arcane shit in season 3. And now I'm even more concerned. God damn it, Felix.
I mean, there are
you
some
won't say-
interesting things about season 3.
You won't say anything, but
Oh.
it's okay.
No,
Well,
I won't.
I
won't say
expect
anything.
some arcane shit, but not like overly the top arcane shit where someone comes back alive. Like
Would you like a little teaser about season 3?
Go for it.
There is no arcane shit.
Okay.
But season 3 is all about the concept of time.
Oh.
So we're seeing a rabbit.
What? What am I missing?
Alice
this
in
is
Wonderland.
Alice in
I'm a big
Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland girl.
I hate
So I was
Alice
like,
in
we're going to
Wonderland.
see him. Don't you dare swear at the table.
I love Alice in Wonderland, but I specifically love the horror ones, and I forgot the game.
Alice played Alice Madness Returns.
Yes.
That's
Alice
my
Madness
girl.
Return is
Nerds.
so good. It's so good.
I love her.
Now I know what.
If you haven't played it,
Halloween
Felix, you'd like it.
Yeah, no, that's very valid. The things I know about it, I like.
Oh, incredible. I loved it.
Well, I got my Halloween outfit now, and I just need to buy it. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Of course.
Amazing. Well, back on Gideon, as I have my second Gideon talking point. Do you have any thoughts on Gideon's intentions? Because he lies about having met Hannibal. He pretends not to recognize him. But at the end of the episode, he is honest with Dr. Bloom when he realizes what Will is planning to do.
Gideon is part of the Hannibal Cannibal family. Nothing much to say.
It?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, well, who else? Like, I think Gideon's smart enough to want to be a part of the family. Like, I don't want to be part of the family anymore because he killed my lovely girl Beverly. But you know, I can't fault Gideon not to.
Valid survival tactic, maybe.
Survival tactic. But yeah. But honestly, I try to think of other thoughts. I just don't understand. I love Gideon. I just don't understand him enough to know his motives.
I was gonna say I can't really figure out what he wants. If it's like if he wants attention, if he wants to like stir shit up for the sake of it, which valid, fair, same. Or if he's actually like bear smart and has something. I mean, he is a doctor. There's got to be there is a level of intelligence, but also if he does have some sort of mental health struggles, maybe he's not really actually thinking about what the fuck he's doing, and he is literally just riding along the roller coaster of life at the minute, and it's just fuck it, fuck shit up.
I mean, what else can he do from there? He's probably very bored.
Yeah. Let everyone else fuck around and find out, but I'm gonna do the fuckeries. That's what he's thinking.
100%.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely valid. I think at this point, especially in this episode where he's reintroduced, it's impossible to know what is going on in his mind. It's really confusing.
Yeah, like he's reintroduced. He's not the Chesapeake Ripper anymore. He's probably got some wits about him now, about who he is. Now it's something that we don't know this side of Gideon, because this side of Gideon hasn't been shown before. We have something to figure out now.
I just think it's a load of banter. I literally just think he's just taking the piss. I just like to sometimes play a bit of devil's advocate in the sense of let's not put a deep meaning to it or like a complex meaning. Let's just say that he's just doing some absolute fuckeries for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is. It's part of Cannibal family. Just for the banter.
He's become a little bit of an almost like Faye-like character in the sense that because he's like weirdly whimsical for someone who is a mentally unstable killer. He just kind of appears and stirs things up, and it's very strange. I think that's what I like about him. Yeah, it's the fact that he is charming and very Faye-like. It's very weird.
Like an Oompa Loompa. A bit more sinister. Just pops up when he needs to and then cuts off. Yeah, but he's not orange.
Thank God. That'd be weird. I wanted to, before the next talking point, talk about the second dish in this episode, which is a very simple one, but incredibly wonderful to look at. The second dish in this episode is very simple. It's Beverly kidney pie. with a
That's
mask
wild.
pastry lid.
No.
I mean, the
It's like
pastry lid is beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it?
it's so good.
It's
It looks
fucking
so
good.
great.
Very good.
There's a little side salad, and there's also on the plate what Janice Poon calls the Beverly pate, which is yellow and red
God.
beets that have been layered with goat cheese and then sliced into little triangles, so that kind of mimics Beverly's dissection with the layers. Because Janice Poon
Smart.
is an evil genius.
Janice Poon is
Very
and
smart.
Also, I love beats like this.
The colours
really-
look amazing.
Yeah.
The
It's like
layers
a
and everything.
weird little evil sunset. It's really cool.
It's really
It
cool.
looks like a it kind of reminds me of a candy corn in a way. Obviously, there's no
Yeah.
red in it, but like the
With
yellow
the shape,
and the
especially, yeah.
yes,
And
yeah.
it would be sweet because beets are usually in these dishes made
Yeah,
to be like
beets
sweet.
Yeah, beets and goat's cheese. I imagine it would be quite sweet.
Yeah.
Why are we
it-
saying beets, please? We're
Look,
fucking British.
I read a thing and then my brain goes to the word that has been written by the American.
What's the other word? I only know beets.
Beetroot.
Oh, beetroot. Oh, okay, there's beets.
We've only lost the word root. It's fine.
Yeah. They call it root if you want to. It's a
Root
nice.
of the word.
It's a nice, lovely root.
I'm on my bullshit tonight.
Sorry,
Dad
I'll
joke central.
try to be more British. I'm sorry.
But I don't
Yeah.
wanna. They colonize. Sorry.
Because Americans have never colonized
I was
anything.
gonna
Yeah,
say, like,
I'm British.
the option of one shit or
Yeah,
two.
but I can't shit on Americans because I can only shit on British people because I'm a British person. No, I can also shit on Americans. Sorry, Americans.
I can absolutely shit on Americans. I shouldn't because they're most of our audience.
I will
Oh,
only shit if someone pays me.
Yeah, that's valid. You know, fetish work. I'm into it. I mean, I'm not into that, but
I mean,
Anyway.
we stand sex workers in this podcast.
hell yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, we do.
I have to.
Yeah, exactly. Same here.
It's part of my job to stand sex workers.
Heck yeah.
So, talking points. I've got them. We're gonna go back to Chilton. My boy, my babe, my best man. Do you think that Dr. Chilton is going to stick to keeping Hannibal's misdeeds a secret? He's clearly already lying to him, not admitting that the real reason he brought Gideon back to the BSHCI was because he's curious about Will suggesting that both he and Gideon know the true identity of the Chesapeake Ripper. Yeah, what the fuck's Chorn up to?
That man's gonna get himself killed, isn't it?
It kind of feels like he's trying to, in
He's
it.
gonna get in it. Oh yeah, back to my Britishness in it. God, he's gonna get himself killed. I don't know. He just has way too much hubris, and I think he is playing with things that are just beyond him. And I forgot who said it. Gideon said it. Gideon literally said it in the episodes that Hannibal's is better in every way, and unfortunately, everyone
He very
feels
much
like,
wants to be you.
yeah, Hannibal, and I feel like everyone at this point is better in every way. Even Alana gets him riled up towards the end, where she's visiting Gideon. Like, I think he's just out of his depth. He's a very smart man. He's got where he is by being incredibly smart. But I just think with the people he's around, Will and everyone, Jack, he's at the bottom of the rung. And he's just a toy thing to Hannibal. He's gonna get himself killed.
Very valid.
This is Chilton we're talking about.
Yes.
Yep.
Just checking, yeah, because I was just rereading the talking point. Yeah, I don't know. I have a weird feeling of like a sense of more of a person from him. Like, I feel like he was on the fuckeries before.
Oh yeah.
And I completely agree with you, Shaira. I think he is gonna end up getting himself killed. But I think as he was talking to Will and learning about the truth about the things that happened to him and stuff, I don't know, maybe it's actually maybe it's actually just Sinister trying to get something out of what's his name? Hannibal, the name of the whole show. No big deal. But I don't know. I feel like there's like a sense of an actual human within him, because I do think he is a little bit like I don't know. I do think he is sort of a bit cocky, a bit wild with his actions, the things that he says and does, and he likes to be a bit of a cocky knob. But I do think there is sort of like a bit of a softer side of him, like sort of coming through a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he's getting a bit concerned. Because it's one of those, I think he's one of those people where he's like all talk and no cheese. I think like when it actually comes to it and he's like realizing that like, oh fuck, like Hannibal could be a little bit like dangerous, but like actually dangerous. I think he's I think that worries him.
Yeah. I think there is a worry. And maybe I like the positivity that he could be finally going, you know what, maybe I need to be softer on this person in front of me.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that we are starting to slowly see a little bit more of a three-dimensional Chilton. Because he's still arrogant, he's still silly, but like even in his arrogance, we kind of see little like chips in his armor in this episode. Like when he's listening to people talking and you see him kind of like frowning in his office. The way he speaks to Will, and Will points out that he was wrong about Abel being the Chesapeake Ripper, and he kind of like rolls his eyes. But he's still being a dick, but he's a bit more human about it. And like his faults have been pointed out, and he kind of has to go with that fact now that he's not infallible by any means. So there's kind of two sides to Chilton now, where he's still kind of sucking up to Hannibal, and we know why. That Gideon has basically confirmed what we kind of discussed last week, that he's jealous of Hannibal. So there's something he seems to be trying to achieve with Hannibal by sort of staying on his side, but he's kind of poking the bear a little bit as well by pointing out the stuff that Will is saying, but only giving him kind of half-truths about it. He's not telling him everything, which is also interesting. It's like part of him is on Will's side and part of him is on Hannibal's side.
That's exactly what I think. Yeah. I think he wants to try and not blackmail him, but I think he wants to try and get to a point of like, oh yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, but I want A, B, and C from you. Like kind of blackmailing, but I think he just kind of wants to get something from him.
He's got the hubris, and I think similarly he wants to come out on top. As previously, he wants to be the one with all the glory. So.
Yeah, I think last episode it felt a bit more like he was leaning towards blackmail, and this episode it's starting to maybe edge a little bit towards more of a Chilton who's using his brain a little bit and is trying to work something out. He just isn't there yet. So whether he's going to try and use it to his advantage or not, we don't know yet. But I think the cogs are turning.
Yes.
Because it's Chilton, could be a good or a bad thing. We don't know yet. So
Chilton, help people, not get them killed.
He's a difficult one. He's a difficult lad.
Yeah.
So this talking point, you might not have any thoughts on it, but just because, and kind of like Alana points out, it's an interesting thing. I wanted to ask you if you did have any thoughts on it, which is, how did you feel about Will agreeing to give Freddie Lowndes the full rights to his story?
Why did you let her win? Ugh.
I mean, I think it's a signal of Will's rage and upset at what has happened. He obviously feels guilty about Beverly's death. Even though he told her stay away from him, he did still bring this notion to her, and obviously her wanting to do her job and being a detective, she's obviously gonna go and fucking look and try and figure it out. I mean, she did figure it out, and her response was to go to his house. I think it's him. I think it's Will acting out of frustration and anger and upset. You know, like when you're having an argument with someone and you just say shit because you are just seeing red. You're just angry. Like he is just seeing red, and he is just like, I want him killed. Like he killed my best mate. He killed, you know, like the person that I work with, like I really cared about this person, like he's, you know, I want him gone. Like he's just acting out of emotion, and I think it's quite obvious because, like Alana said, like it was very like you despise her, like that's very worrying. Like it literally just does not sound right, which I think it isn't. It's Will just acting out of emotion more than anything. He's just wanting Hannibal dead, and he's just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use her because I know that that's going to get his attention. That's pretty much it, I think.
Pretty much it's the last resource thing. Like, what else can you do?
Yeah, exactly. And there's only so much he can do.
And yeah, maybe it's just his rage, but obviously he puts himself into a bit more of shit by doing it. But,
yeah.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, I mean, I basically agree. I think Will agreeing to work with Freddie Lounds is basically the signal of that's how pissed off he is and how far he's gone. I don't think it's necessarily irrational, but I think you're right about the rage element. His brain has reached a point of just like, well, if someone's willing to kill for me, then I can make them kill again. This is the way to do it. This is the way to contact them. I don't care what it takes. Beverly has died.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it takes anymore. It doesn't matter what the sacrifice is. So he doesn't care that he's having to give away his rights to someone he absolutely despises. I agree. I think he just doesn't care anymore. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he's also, maybe he's in a state of, you know, I'm here. They think I'm a fucking murderer. Like I might as well.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers.
Most people think he's terrible anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Matthew Brown, Matty B, Hawk, Psycho Twink. What did you think of Will's admirer?
Exactly that. Psycho Twink.
I love Psycho Twink.
He was very sexy in that one scene, and then quite repulsive in the others.
I want the word Psycho Twink and a photo of Matthew Brown underneath it on a baby tee.
Oh my god.
I kind of want a Psycho Twink tattoo now.
That's a pretty. It's a cool. I'd like to be called Psycho Twink. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't
ironically have the word Psycho Twink across my tits. I think that's,
yeah.
I think that's great.
I wouldn't be upset being called that.
Oh, I could get it as a tramp stamp. That'd be wicked. That'd actually be terrible and fantastic. I'll consider it. I love bad tattoos, so that's.
I like bad tattoos. I love bad tattoos, but I would probably never get tattooed. One day.
It's fine. I'll get more on your behalf.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
We will keep tattooing ourselves until your time comes.
Yeah. Yeah, like what did you think of him as a character? The way he interacts with Will, his methods with Hannibal. He's so different to the other killers we've experienced so far.
Very flamboyant.
Very
flamboyant. Not in the queer way, actually.
Yeah, like, he's not like camp. He's more traditionally flamboyant. He's theatre.
He's theatre, yeah. He's not like everyone thinks when they hear flamboyant, they're all gay. But no,
I mean he's super gay as well, but in a different way.
Yeah, he's super gay in a different way. But the flamboyantness doesn't come off as gay. It comes as theatre. It comes off as wanting to be the ringmaster or the one in the spotlight, and you kind of see it in like towards the end of it, where he's kind of like he's got his hands wide out, going, "Oh wow, I'm magical and whimsical."
He literally does a little bow at one point as well.
He does, right? Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I think adding on to the whole thing of like being the ringmaster, I think he's also like very textbook underdog or like dark horse.
Yeah.
Even performance wise from the actor, like, I think it was fucking incredible. Like it's a very like particular kind of character to play, and I think it's very easy to do it badly in the sense that maybe not enough or more so than not too much. And I think he did it really well. Like, so from a performance perspective, I think he really killed it. Pardon the pun. He did so well. I was really like taken aback by his performance. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. I thought the performance was really fun and really like enjoyable. He was a fun killer. He was like the first time I watched it, I know it was disturbing for you both. First time we watched it, I found it really really cool. I was like, oh wow, this is such a cool cinematic kind of episode. And also because I was like, yes, finally because I was really angry about their Beverly being killed. But obviously now I'm like,
But as we've said this, watching this entire show, that when you find it difficult to watch, it's because it's obviously good. Like
it looks painful, and that means they've done a great job with the execution. When you look at it, and it makes you like cringe.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't get that because I think it's weird because my first reaction to watching it today, before we recorded it, we always watch it before we record an episode, just to mention, was just going, oh yes, finally happened, go. Today I did have a bit more of a reservation, like, oh god, that's painful to for Will. Obviously I still heard that was painful for Hannibal, but obviously I still had like yes, he's getting comeuppance, but you know.
It's a very, very cruel method. It's I wish we got more of a chance to get to know Matthew as well, because
I wanted him in a few more episodes, similar to the lawyer in the last.
Yeah, this series just keeps like busting out fantastic one episode characters, and it's really cruel.
Really cool.
But it also, I think, makes them a little bit more special. I think
true.
Not to say that they wouldn't do well or perform just as well in other episodes after that, but I think because of the fact that they are only there for a fleeting moment, I think adds quite a bit more to the sort of special side of it. So it does make it even more fun and exciting. It's just this like one hit wonder that we get, and that's a part of why it's so
100%.
magical and so special, I think. Yeah,
I get that.
I think it's quite nice from a fan point of view as well. If you do particularly like a character that's only in one episode, you only have limited content to obsess over, which sometimes can feel like you're lacking in something. But on the other hand, it's really easy to learn every part of that content because it's limited.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, a lot of people love Matthew Brown.
And you get your own headcanons.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, because he's only there once and we don't get a backstory. We don't know, has he killed before other than the bailiff? Is he a serial killer? Why is he obsessed with Will Graham? Because, like, it's explained that he basically read Will's case file and thought he's, like, infatuated with him. The idea that he's so interesting and his kills that aren't his kills are so interesting that he finds it amazing. And, of course, it's
he figured out that
because, it's Hannibal's kills. But Will is not associated with the Chesapeake Ripper. Will is associated with a copycat killer.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So Matthew kind of gets to encounter what he believes are two different serial killers. One he's enamored with, and then even with Hannibal, he shows some interest in, like, I understand and respect what you are, but also I want to be better than you. So, and he prefers Will. So
yeah.
But it's interesting, like I mentioned before, Will is catnip to serial killers, and that's such a strange thing, and we don't really find out why.
Yeah.
But for some reason, killers just find him super interesting, and Matthew is like so different to Hannibal. It's really interesting. I wanted to give a little bit of script detail just because it's a little jarring in the episode when you see, for example, Matthew taking Will out of his cell. And like leading him to his main cell. I've now forgotten the name of the like weird cubicle cells. And like at first you don't know exactly what he's doing. Like it feels a little bit like, is he about to let him escape? He's not. He's just taking him to his cell. In the script, the reason that's happening is because Will's cell is being inspected, and he asks him like, how long is this going to take? And Matthew's just like, whatever. So the reason they're talking to each other and Matthew is with him is because Will's cell is being inspected.
Oh,
which makes more sense. I don't know why they didn't include it.
Yeah.
There's also a fun little line they didn't include. The scene starts with Matthew asking Will, would you like a book, Mr. Graham? And Will says, I have my imagination. In the script, Matthew replies, we have the most sophisticated virtual reality system known to man right between our ears. And that's a really nice line that applies really well to Will.
That's really cool, yeah.
I'm now just ranting about Matthew Brown because he's great. His most well-known line is the thing about hawks, where he says to Will, "Have you seen the way that smaller birds will mob a hawk on a wire? You and me, we're hawks, Mr. Graham." And Will points out hawks are solitary, and Matthew says, "And that's their weakness. Enough of those smaller birds get together and they chase hawks away. Imagine if the hawks started working together." So that's another thing. He's not just infatuated with Will. He's infatuated because he wants to work with him. He wants to be with Will.
He wants the cannibal family. Yeah, he did the wrong thing.
He wants Will's version of the cannibal family.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of...
Cannibal family. Okay, that doesn't work. Have it, Will.
I kind of like the dichotomy between intelligence and stupidity with Matthew as well, though. The point about hawks, and Will just be like, hawks are solitary. And it's like, yeah, but that's their weakness. Like, no, Matthew, just face the fact what you said was actually quite stupid.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Matthew Brown.
And at least he's pretty.
He's so pretty. They're
pretty boy.
blatant excuse to show him in a little Speedo and his tattoos and his toplessness. They really took advantage of that actor. They were like, "You've got a good physique. We're going to use it." So
they know their audience.
100%. So the girls and the gays. So moving on to the other part of Matthew's scene. How did it feel to see someone actually get one over on Hannibal? Do you have any thoughts on how someone we've seen to be so consistently invincible could actually end up so close to death?
Yeah, it definitely felt like a bit of a kind of what is gonna fucking happen right now moment. You're sort of... I think you kind of, even without knowing that there was going to be like another season afterwards, so he would have to have survived it somehow.
And it's called Hannibal.
Yeah, and it's called Hannibal. I think there was still an element of like, what the fuck is actually going to happen? But also like, but also in the sense of like, I feel like he's going to get away with it anyway, because there is still, I think, that charm and that thing of Hannibal. You just believe him to be fucking invincible anyway. And I think almost like him getting close to death isn't something that scares him, and isn't something that... He literally said death sounds comforting.
Yeah.
So it was just sort of like, I don't know. He's also insanely stupidly smart beyond like, you know, it actually being fucking fair, let alone possible. So there was just a bit of like, oh my god, what is happening right now? But then I kind of feel like I know he's going to get out of this somehow. Disregarding the fact that we know that there was a third season. Like if I was watching it without any kind of knowledge of when this show carries on or when it ends, etc., like I would I'm thinking of it of like, fuck, is he gonna be at least held back a bit whilst he's in hospital recovering or some shit? Yeah. It was crazy, but definitely not surprising that he was still saved.
Yeah, not surprising at all. See, obviously watching it the first time, I was super happy. Like, I was like, yes, go for it. because I was really upset that he killed Beverly. Because I love Beverly. But like watching it today, all that could have all that kind of went through my mind was the fact that this must feel painful. Like, he's been knocked down a peg I feel like in himself, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he thinks of him as godlike. This isn't something that God would have ever put himself into a situation. He's been in these kind of situations before, but he's always had the upper hand.
Yeah.
But this time he didn't have the upper hand until...
And he looked like he was on a cross almost because of the bar behind him.
Yeah.
In the script, it literally says Christ-like.
Christ-like, yeah.
Brilliant.
So, sure, he's maybe still doing, but clearly not an infallible God. Where he's all like a perfect one, where he can escape on his own or get revived. He needed someone else, Jack, in this persistence. But yeah, That's all I was could think of. But then, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it today. Watching it today did go and make me go, "Oof, ouch!" Like no one should go through that, even someone like Hannibal. And I feel like that's not the kind of justice that Will should have thought. 100%. I was on board previously because I was just thinking angry. But I know if I put a little bit of thought to it, like even then, I would have been like, yeah, no, actually, no, valid.
Do you either of you have any thoughts on how you think he allowed it to happen? I say allowed it. It's not like he slipped up exactly, but we've never seen him so vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, because we've already seen that someone could be a few steps ahead of him, but then that was someone that knew him for a long time. I don't know, because I think it was just coincidental of like timing and stuff. I don't think he was necessarily expecting someone to come and try and assassinate him, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because the sense that like Will didn't even suspect the admirer to be right under his fucking nose.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think anyone suspected that, and there's almost just like sort of looming thing of someone like this is going to get their comeuppance. Like there is going to be a time and a moment where someone is going to come for you, or something, some sort of situation is going to come and it's going to be your end. Like I feel like it's just more probable when you are, I don't know, a fucking serial killer. So I feel like it's almost maybe a comment on that of like, you know, oh, you think it's going to be his end, and maybe for Hannibal this will be like, I need to buck my fucking ideas up and pull my socks up, and be a bit more on it, because arguably you could say that he's maybe losing his touch a little bit, in the sense of he went to go for Bedelia already fucked off because she's a badass bitch.
Yeah.
And then now he didn't even see this coming, and he's probably thinking, oh, fucking rookie mistake, man. Why did I let someone drug me in a fucking pool and get put up like Christ? Like, what's going on here? I feel like it's probably done a number on his ego and his feelings, so he's now going to come back like 10 times more fucking heavy dick energy.
Ruthless.
Yeah, I think he's going to be like, fuck this and everyone, like, no one's safe. No one was safe, but no one's fucking safe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, it could also be the fact that he just doesn't think that the killers would have gone for him. Like maybe he was prepared.
Tobias did though.
Yeah, Tobias did though. Yeah, but maybe he's more like, oh, I'm going to watch out for the police and stuff, but not other killers. And obviously, he's in a very vulnerable position. It's a bit difficult to even anticipate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even at the upper hand, he literally just was like pulling himself out of the swimming pool. But I think he's developed similar hubris as to everyone else, where he didn't. And then on the flip side, he also, I don't think he cares about dying too much. When, like he said himself, the dying isn't something that he's too worried about. If it's time, it's a time. And if he managed to escape, he managed to escape. It wasn't his time.
Would you like to know what I think?
Yes, please. Sorry.
What would you say if I said no?
I'd go and sit in a corner and I'd cry to myself for the rest of the podcast.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Felix is going to go crying. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Tell us your thoughts and feelings, friend.
I think both of you make really good points. I have a very specific thought as to how he allowed this to happen. When Matthew has him strung up, he says you're a nurse at the hospital, he's setting a standard of care, and Hannibal, Matthew Brown says we have a mutual respect, blah, blah, blah. Hannibal says, Will's not what you think he is, he's not a murderer. And Matthew says he is now, at least by proxy, and does his little bow.
Yes.
And Hannibal asks, he asked you to do this? So Hannibal is shocked that Will would do this. Hannibal spent the entirety of season 1 getting to know and manipulating Will so that he could understand his every move and essentially drug and hypnotize him to control what he was doing. And now he's somewhere where he can't get to him all the time.
Yeah.
And Will is changing, and Will is becoming manipulative, and we have seen Will being directly manipulative to Hannibal, where he started out being very angry with him, saying the light from friendship won't touch us for 1,000 years. And now he's taken that back and is being kind of apologetic and kind of sweet to Hannibal to try and get Hannibal back on his side, because he knows that might be the only way of getting one up on Hannibal. Hannibal, we can now surmise, killed the judge because he is trying to get Will out.
Yes.
He tried a method during the trial, which he openly admitted to Will that he was lying to get that to happen. And it failed. And he got angry and he killed the judge.
Yep.
Hannibal is not someone who acts on a whim. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't do things out of revenge. That's not the kind of person he is. He's meticulous. He's elegant. And now he's not. Now he's kind of pissed off because the person he's obsessed with is where he doesn't want him to be, even though he put him there.
Yeah.
Because he loves him.
He does.
Love his
So,
boy.
yeah, I think the reason that Matthew Brown could attack him so easily is because Hannibal genuinely didn't believe that Will would try and get him hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will is in the worst position, but in a weird little way, Will is winning.
Yeah.
Horrible things are happening. Like, yes, Beverly got killed. That's bad. But on a completely different level, on a more psychological level, Will was winning.
Yeah.
In the script, when Hannibal asks you to do this, and Matthew Brown says, "What are friends for?" I think in the scene he looks a little bit upset. But
He does,
in the script, it says Hannibal considers that impressed by Will's moxie, which is a different take on it. Again, confirms though he didn't know because he didn't think that Will was capable of that. So I think that's why he underestimated Will, and it nearly got him killed. Which is interesting.
Indeed.
I'm going to say a couple of quick little things about that scene.
Ooh. Give us some trivia, Daddy.
Yes, it's not that interesting. So Matthew mentions the phrase "kick the bucket," and says that like that method of death is where the phrase comes from. So I wanted to know if that was true or not. And it's contested, like so much fucking etymology. It's impossible to know exactly where the phrase comes from. Yeah, some people wrote in the 1800s it was referenced as a method of slaughtering pigs. But the earliest known use was in 1775, and it was used to refer to someone dying in a really like casual way, which made it clear that the phrase was already being used. It's already in people's vernacular.
Oh, wow.
But a specific way of it being used in a slightly more descriptive way came later in 1788 in Jackson's Oxford Journal, which reads: "Last week, John Marshfield, a labouring man, hanged himself in an outhouse in Avon Street. He had very deliberately just before bought a piece of cord, which he put round his neck, and, by standing on a bucket, fixed it to the beam. He then kicked the bucket to a considerable distance from under him, and was soon found after with his head almost severed from his body, owing to the smallness of the cord."
My God.
So, yeah, it's been used for a long time. And is indeed what that phrase means. Matthew Brown also claims that the Iroquois witches, or Iroquois, I don't know the correct way to pronounce it. I don't know if Matthew knows the correct way to pronounce it. So, but that's a name for Six Nations, members of a confederacy of indigenous nations in North America. Now, he says they ate their enemies to take their strengths. And I just wanted to point out to take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of Western and European missionaries who claim to witness things like cannibalism gave often very unreliable accounts.
Yes,
of course they did.
When I tried to look it up to see if it was correct or not. It was very mixed results. I found one very old report saying that it's bullshit, but everything else just kind of took it as like American, Canadian, North American history of just being like, yeah, there were probably cannibals. So I would,
I
believe that's true.
Yeah.
a lot of historical cannibalism are based on false reports.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
It's trying to paint us POCs as savages.
Yeah, and like there were different ways of death rituals with various tribes around the world. I can't remember what one it is, but there's like a specific tribe that like they break the body into different parts and feed it to animals when people die and stuff like that. And people take a lot of stories like that and turn that into cannibalism. And it's like, no, it's not. And yes, cannibalism historically has existed, but again, is not usually grotesque or weird. It's normally just a cultural difference thing. And it's normally a death ritual thing, not a we're eating people for fun thing.
Yeah. It's usually like you're eating your part of your family or something.
Yeah.
And it's not really like something done maliciously.
Yeah, it just seems shocking to people who aren't used to it because of cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
Standard, it's a lot of stuff is normally the case when it comes to people who are not white, Western, or European.
Yeah.
So, for our last talking point, I just wanted to draw back to Will a little bit because there's a lot now hanging on Will. So, what repercussions do you think that this will have for Will? Alana knows he arranged to have Hannibal killed. Jack now no doubt also knows this. How do you think this will impact not only his freedom, but his mental state?
Both in the shitter.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's solidified that he's a killer, unfortunately, in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She really judged him very harshly. Maybe Jack will give him the benefit of the doubt, but Alana, however, has written him off from the start. And now she's not going to believe that he has any kind of like issue or anything that she first believed. She's going to straight up see Will as a monster. Well, unfortunately, Will for that is a monster, but not for the other things.
Yeah, I feel for him because you know it's a shit situation, and it was just almost really like infuriating and such a letdown when he decided to arrange this, because the whole point was we were fighting to get him out so that he could get the justice that he deserves and is entitled to, not only for himself but also for, like, you know, the deaths that have gone on and everything, and just Abigail, and also just getting to the truth and the bottom of everything and justice to prevail and the truth to come out. Good side wins. But the minute that he was like, oh, I want you to kill Hannibal, I was like, no, because now it's just like, oh, well, now you're a fucking convicted criminal. Regardless of your attempt being successful or not, you still arranged someone's murder. And now it's just like, well, now he's just made it a bit more complicated now, but then also, is that a sign of the start of his mental state starting to decline? But then it gets a bit techie because it's like, had his what was it called? Syphilis?
Oh, encephalitis.
Encephalitis, not syphilis.
Will syphilis.
Will syphilis and encephalitis. Had he got either of those things checked, so if he got his brain checked sooner and actually like had some action made before anything happened, would he even have gotten to this point?
Yeah.
Is this a result of Hannibal's abuse to him as his encephalitis got worse? I think so. It's just such a big chain of reaction, and it's like, was this fucking inevitable? Oh, it's just a massive shit show of a fucking mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Lord. But I think he's definitely done himself in and fucked it now that he's
Yeah. That's literally one
now
of the
that
notes.
he's wanted to get Hannibal killed. Had he not done that, he had such a strong standpoint of getting out, having his comeuppance, everyone being like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, why the fuck did we think it was you?" But like now, he's just ruins everything. So it's so infuriating from excuse me,
I love that.
This side, our audience perspective.
Yeah, I love that you said fucked it. That's literally what I did. Wrote as a prompt. He fucked it in it.
They did.
You did.
Yeah. I think one of the small things in his favour is, to my knowledge, off the top of my head, there is no evidence that he arranged to have Hannibal killed if Matthew Brown doesn't or isn't in a state to tell anyone that.
But
yep.
Alana knows. Jack probably knows.
No. Alana knows what Abel Gideon told her, of which there is no evidence, and Abel Gideon is not reliable. Now, you could argue, well, they went there and found it, so obviously Abel Gideon was correct. That's irrefutable, but as evidence, it is not viable.
Oh, I see.
So it might... Also, his court case in general is currently out the window because of what happened with the judge. So the whole legal issue is kind of up in the air, regardless of whether he arranged to get Hannibal killed or not. It's all a little bit because no one really knows what's happening. Which is basically what Hannibal did. Hannibal bought him time by killing the judge.
Yeah,
it meant that a verdict couldn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So it's this show takes the piss anyway, so...
There is also that. There's the whole suspension of belief thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's some interesting little script notes from the scene where Will and Alana talk. Yeah, so we kind of discussed before about how they still clearly care about one another, but Alana's head is in a different place because of what she believes about him. And there are some really just very sweet little script notes about that scene that I just wanted to mention just because they were very sweet and kind of the script had led me to be under the impression that Lana doesn't care about him in the same way, but during this scene it says things like, they smile at each other, connection always strong and near the surface, so much water under their bridge. It says Alana looks at him, wants to hold him, and Will looks at Alana, wants to tell her, which is referencing what he's arranged to have done. So there's a nice little undercurrent of despite everything, Alana cares, and Will cares about her. That may now be fucked.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Oh, well.
Well.
Alana's not worth it.
Oh, wow. Why did you stop being Team Alana?
No, I didn't stop being Team Alana. I don't think Alana is as loyal or as...
I agree, but I understand why.
Yeah, I understand why. And I don't think it's someone that Will could have, unfortunately in his current state, would have been able to have.
They'd suck in a relationship.
Yeah, they I think they wouldn't have a good relationship. I think even if Will was good, I don't think they would have had a good relationship. That's it. Yeah. Still, I love Alana. Call me baby, but but yeah, in the terms of Will, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get to fuck each other before, but they definitely are fucking each other now.
In the worst way possible.
In the worst way possibly. Goddamn straight relationships.
Don't worry, no relationship that Will has is straight. So, shall we go on to our ending bits?
Ending bits, yeah.
Ending bits.
Yeah. So, favourite quotes.
Shaira, that's you. Yeah, I know. My brain just had to give me a little bit of a ba-da-ba-ba-da. Favourite quotes. So my favourite quotes, you already mentioned, just briefly, but it's the one towards the end of the episode, and it was what Hannibal says, and I found it really funny and giggled towards it. It's like, you're a nurse at the hospital. You're setting a standard of care. Because, like you said during that watch, he's so sassy to the end, and I love it. I love it. God damn, I love him. I hate him, but I love him. I hate him, but I love him. I'm so angry at him, but I love him.
That sums up Hannibal so well.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah. What is your favourite quote, Melissa?
I have two.
Oh yes.
So the first one is when Dr. Gideon is being like the fucking annoying little cousin that's come round for that one for those periodic, you know, when you have periodic like holidays in the year and all your cousins come round and there's that one little annoying one that's like 5 or 7 years old and is in that annoying stage of asking questions all the time. And it gives me that vibe between Gideon and Will, where Will's like a teenager. He's like 17 and he's trying to like be cool and just live his own life. And Gideon's like, oh, I thought I was the Ripper. And Will literally is just like, no, you're the pretender to the throne.
Yeah.
I just thought the pretender to the throne bit I thought was just like so sassy, but also still a bit of like his whimsical sort of talking in what's it called? I don't know, like theatrics and
still a little bit purple prosy, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good man.
And the second quote is also actually a Gideon quote where he says, I'm a cutter, not a pisser. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I thought that's something to live by, innit?
Yeah.
I think that's something that should be a tramp stamp tattoo right above the crack.
God, I'm getting so many good tattoo ideas.
Yeah. Tattoos that I can't have that you're gonna get for
I'll
me.
just get a whole scroll of tramp stamps.
Heck yeah.
So I have a runner-up quote, an honorary mention, which is a Freddie Lowndes quote when Hannibal is talking about her being rude, and she says, "Unfortunately, I didn't evolve the ability to feel shame." Same. Most relatable thing that Freddie Lowndes has ever said.
Maybe, yeah, but you not feeling shame is better than her not feeling shame.
I feel it on a deep level, though. I know she's a dick, but yeah, samesies.
Yeah.
And then my favorite quote is just a really short, simple one, but it always sticks in my head, and I know it does for some other fans of the show as well. And that is Dr. Gideon referring to Hannibal, and he says, "He is the devil, Mr. Graham. He is smoke."
That's good note. Yes.
Yeah, it's a very good line, especially as we now know that Mads Mikkelsen considers Hannibal to be literally the devil as well. It's a very good line. So, favorite moments.
Favorite moments. So, my favorite moment was literally where Melissa's quote come from.
Oh.
Abel Gideon. I just love him. Every time he's on there, and we've talked about him, he's a fae. Every time he talks, he's so charming. And I just, when he first came back, it was just, oh my god, this gorgeous man is back. This charming, gorgeous man is back, and I'm so happy. And literally, that's all I can say about it. He's so charming. He's so fun to watch. And like this episode, I feel like was made when he popped up. It felt like such a treat.
Hell yeah.
Hello. My favorite moment is like not for any kind of reason of high importance at all. It is literally just because it's silly fucking goofy. So you know when you have things like Law and Order, for example, or like
I certainly do.
or like or just like X-Files or something like that. I don't know, where it's just like think like early 2000s and it's all like dramatic and there's like a case going on and like everyone's got to try and figure out what's going on. And you know, like where you have someone coming out of like a courtroom and there's like a swarm of paparazzi taking bare photos. It's just the contrast of that to this, where Hannibal leaves a building, and then it just pans to Freddie being the only one taking photos, but she's there, like, ready, like, to take the photo the second that Hannibal comes out, as if this is a high-profile case. But it's like, she's the only one there, and she's the only one taking photos. I just thought it was such a funny fucking contrast. I was like, babe, relax. Like, you have all the time to take the photos because you're the only fucker there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
She's such a little stalker.
Oh, no, it's so funny. Bless her heart.
No, don't bless her heart.
Yeah.
Wish hell on her heart.
Smite Freddy's heart.
Smite Freddy's heart. Yeah, smite.
For my favourite moment, shout out to the deleted scene, which we watched, which you can find on YouTube. I understand why it's not there, and I think it's too heavy-handed, and it shouldn't be in the episode. But as a standalone scene, especially as a diehard Hanagram fan, it's beautiful, the way they get close and whisper to one another, and the way that Will just outright lies directly to Hannibal's face and gets all teary and puts on the wounded bird act. Just love it. So special shout out to that scene. But my favourite moment is kind of goes along with Shaira's favourite quote of the entire conversation between Hannibal and Matthew, and the fact that Hannibal still manages to be cocky, still manages to keep an attitude the entire time that he is literally bleeding out with a noose around his neck. Just makes for such an amazing couple of scenes. It's such a good watch.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would have chose that scene as well, but Abel Gideon.
No, valid. I'm glad we got some Gideon in there, because having him back is just so good.
It's so good. It also means that Abigail's alive.
How?
Abigail's alive.
All right, I don't understand your logic, but you're entitled to your opinion. Next episode predictions.
Yes, it's me. Hannibal will do all in his power to let Will off somehow. That's literally what I wrote. Like, I think he may try. He'll try to almost make it as if Will, like, obviously he will know, but he will let Will off in other ways, because I feel like otherwise he's fucked it. He'll be like, oh, Matty B was the only one who tried to kill me. Don't listen to Gideon. Obviously we have Gideon starting to be part of the cannibal family, so we're going to probably get some more people on board. Will is starting to get molded into someone who could be part of the cannibal family, which is exactly what I think Hannibal wants. Be my lover, be my everything, and be my husband, you know. But yeah, I think we are gonna see a very interesting episode. I have no kind of like proper like insight on what is gonna happen in the next episode. I feel like it's all up in the air now, because like it's given us such a twist that is difficult to give a like a solid opinion.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I think I don't necessarily have anything specific for next episode. I think very vaguely Gideon and Chilton, I think, are both on thin ice with their lives. And I think that because also I think after this, Hannibal is gonna have like a fucking montage where he just gets angrier and meaner and like buffs up and has like a gym training session montage.
Amazing.
I think he's gonna take this and be like, fuck everything and fuck everyone times 1,000, if that wasn't enough before. I think there's going to be a change in him, and I think we're not going to notice it when he's interacting with other people, but behind the scenes he's just going to be absolutely fucking savage. I think he's going to really amp up his shit, his bullshit, because he's going to be really fucked off. And like I said, his ego, his little man ego is going to be bruised and he's going to be like, oh, fuck, lad, I'm not letting someone get at me like that again. And yeah, I think he's going to up the ante. And I think Chilton and Gideon are literally on the thinnest of fucking ice before they kick the bucket.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
obviously gay sex.
Hell yeah.
I'm not leaving that out ever.
Heck yeah.
Never.
Never.
My next episode prediction is that Will apologize to Hannibal, but he'll do it with really big, sparkly puppy dog eyes, and all will be forgiven.
Oh,
Right.
Water under the bridge after that.
yeah. Like,
Of course it
Daddy,
is.
please. Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill.
Are you ready for my sign-off?
Yeah! Whoop, 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 whoop.
My sign-off haiku today is: love is in the air, but maybe not what you think. Guess you'll have to see. Fate and Circumstance is an independent podcast brought to you by Felix Fanfaron Fern, Melisa Suzan, and Shaira Bambi. You can find and follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at HannibalPod. We are fans of the show NBC's Hannibal and do not own the rights to any of the materials discussed, merely appreciators. The music used in this podcast is Tchaikovsky's Op. No. 40 Waltz by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Thanks for listening.